And we are back here on Convincing Idiots. We have Nick, Dean, and Brian, as always, with you. Today we are discussing our favorite fictional U.S. presidents. And one of the ones that we, both Brian and I came up with on our list was President, was it David? Yes, President David Palmer of 24. And I mean, I don't know about you, Brian, but I liked President Palmer. I think most of all his demeanor, right? 24 is a very hectic show. There's a lot that's going on, and Jack Bauer's under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. He's in direct contact many times with the president. President Palmer keeps his cool. He's very calm, collected, and I know this doesn't have necessarily anything to do with your ability to lead, but let's not act like his voice just isn't like that of a leader, right? I think the voice does a lot for me. He's got that voice. It's very commanding. It's very.
You wouldn't want to hear his fireside chat, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I think you would tune in for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. Of all the fictional presidents that we've named, anyway, certainly the best voice by far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whatever he's saying, you're going to tune in and have a listen for sure. I remember I was a pretty big 24 fan at the time, and when he got killed off, I mean, that was like, man, that was pretty emotional. I mean, I remember getting kind of sad about that at the time.
So we're just not going to give spoiler alerts for people who's never seen it.
Buddy, that show's been off the air for what did that show air in the early 2000s, I believe? Maybe 2004, 2003. So you'll get there.
Well, look at kind of the overlap in some of that stuff. Like on our list, you guys had David Palmer, not David. What?
No, it's David. Yep.
David.
Yep.
Okay. And then Kiefer Sutherland, who was his go-to or whatever. And then he was president on another show, which I have on my list.
Yeah.
And then you have like, I think there's a few of them like that, right? Like Michael Douglas was a president, and
he was president in which one? Was it? I know he was in West Wing and the American.
No. You're thinking of Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen was West Wing. Michael Douglas was the American president with the net.
Okay.
Right. All right. So, well, first, any last thoughts on David Palmer? I mean, I think we tend to share the same. We like his coolness. We like his voice was great. Very powerful presence. You imagine him, being a good leader fictionally, and then he was always, certainly very supportive of his top agent, Kiefer Sutherland, on that show. So,
if you plot David Palmer in Air Force One in that film, the tagline of "Get off my plane" isn't as good for that moment for kicking him off. But again, it's calm, it's cool, collected. I mean, when he delivers it, it's very authoritative. It's "Get off my plane," and that's just
once again, I didn't 24. I didn't watch 24. But my question is, at any point was he in the Oval Office in a G-string, lifting weights, shirtless?
No, but he did sacrifice a live chicken.
Okay, good.
In one of the seasons, similar to Serrano. So he's got the Serrano overlap there, Nick. From
probably how we got through the midterm election.
I was just thought that Dean was riffing on a dream that he'd had about him.
Yes, but slightly different. It was Brian and lifting the weights and
yeah. Well, I come over to Dean's like once every other weekend, and I do that for him, so he gets the full visual.
That's right.
It gives them something to remember for a couple weeks. So that,
make sure everything's still working the way it should.
And oddly enough, in the whole swing of things, while he's doing it, I'm sitting there with a giant bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, eating it, just watching.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a
Brian,
weird,
upon setting up this podcast across all platforms, is it labeled erotic? Because I feel like that's something we should put in the
explicit content at times. All right, so. I think we've talked about David Palmer, So, Dean, you were going into Michael Douglas and Martin Sheen, the two guys on your list. So why those guys?
I mean, Martin Sheen has that. I mean, he played the Jed Bartlett in The West Wing, which for what, however many 6-7 seasons or whatever it was, he seemed like that John F. Kennedy-esque, confidence and coolness, and also he did play John F. Kennedy in a movie as well. So I guess that probably helped. But yeah, he just when he gave his speeches, same as the other guys, is that it just felt comfort, and you were like, I want that to be I need that to be the president, that we have. And as far as who was the other one that you said, Michael Douglas, yeah, president, same thing. Just that he has that confidence and the cool swagger to him. Really, Martin Sheen and Michael Douglas could be interchangeable in life and in roles.
Yeah.
So, I think across all the presidents we've discussed so far, the one common trend is we all just want someone to make us feel safe.
Right, exactly.
I just want to feel comfortable with whoever it is. Just make me feel safe, like you can handle a crisis.
I want at the end of a speech not to have this face while watching. What the fuck? Why? What?
Is that a stroke? Is he okay?
Now, have you always liked these type of character presidents, or is it more so now?
No, I
current president in place to where it's like you're really, are we really extra yearning for that type of leadership that we may or may not be feeling from our current? Is it any different now, or you've always liked these characters?
I think in that kind of role, you always kind of want that. I think that's probably not just common within the three of us, but that's anybody. I mean, you look at so much of voting in general, regardless of who you vote for in what election, it's always people, they feel like this guy or that guy is looking out for me, is going to take care of me. It's a thing where, yeah, they're like the dad and you want to be taken care of or something. I think that's a common for that position.
There were some polls done to where they said, what draws you to a certain presidential candidate. And one of the weird things is, I think it was back when Bush was elected, and a lot of people said he seems like somebody I could have a beer with. I can sit down and have a beer with, and I get that now. You know what I mean? I get, yeah, you want to feel safe, but it's also that certain connection with you, somebody you can sit down and be real with.
Yeah. I would agree.
I get that from a conversational standpoint, if that makes sense. Like where this person seems down to earth, but at the same time, I also want to feel like the person that's there is
knows what the fuck
smarter
they're doing.
than me. Like they like, you know what I mean? Like there's a reason they're there, and that's good. I get wanting to relate to somebody, but I get a little bit of both of those.
Like of all of these presidents, like Harrison Ford on Air Force One, Harrison Ford in general, I don't look at and go, I think I'd be awesome to have a beer with him. No, I think he's going to be eating oatmeal and then looking up at me and just going, the fuck do you want? He's not somebody, he doesn't seem like he's going to be a personable guy.
Right.
In real life or in any role.
He's too damn busy kicking ass. It's just,
That's right.
He doesn't have time for your shenaniganery and drinking beers with you. He's got shit to do.
That's right.
He's got terrorists to beat.
Kicking people off planes.
That's right. Yep.
There you go. So
that's
It was a kick.
What?
It was a kick.
It was a
kick? Because he had he kicked him.
Oh, yeah. Kick. Yeah, gotcha.
Because they're off the back there, off the door, and just gives him the boot right to the chest, and poof, yep, he gone.
Right, who do you have on your list that we didn't?
I had I liked Leslie Knope.
Leslie Knope, yeah. That's a great. See, okay, so my shortcoming with a lot of TV shows is I don't finish them, but I mean Parks and Rec, as far as the cast, I mean it's phenomenal. I'm a big Aziz Ansari fan, and I mean everybody from Chris Pratt to actually when you look back at it now, I mean it's not like those people weren't somebody then, but now it just seems like the characters that were on that show, the actors that were on that show, it's hard to believe that all of them were on the same TV show. But yeah, that was a great show. But going further, kind of not refresh me because I haven't actually seen the end of Parks and Rec, but talk a little bit about that when she's president.
Well, it's just and actually it's a not a bad segue. Is that our next episode we're going to talk about some of our favorite TV series. Well, not necessarily favorite, some of our favorite / least favorite TV series finales. That'll be our next episode, and yeah, this actually, to preview, this made my list because they really tied it up nicely. And she was always a character that you really rooted for. It was a comedy, but on the show, I mean, she was a very sincere public servant. She loved her community.
Yeah.
She always sacrificed for her friends and co-workers and all that stuff, and you just really wanted her to be successful. And the fact that they showed her as president was just like, it was just a nice feel good moment. And then you just knew that if Leslie was our president, she'd be looking out, same type of qualities. I mean, that she'd be looking out for us. She cares about her country, and she would do all she could to make sure that we were comfortable and protected. So
yeah,
just a good moment. What's that, Nick? Dean? Sorry.
I was asking if I just had a stroke in the middle of your of your what you were saying there. You kind of slowed down and pixelated the.
There's a little bit of lag, but yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
the point across there. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you didn't go out or anything.
the words, but it kind of pixelated the voice pixelated a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. But you get the point. So I think we're all sharing the same type of quality. And then I had a couple.
She is the ultimate underdog, really.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
Leslie Knope would give you hope.
A Parks and Recreation leader to the president. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And then I also had Mr. Garrison from South Park. If you've not seen that, he plays. It's an absolute perfect parody of Trump. I mean, he's Mr. Garrison on the show as president, but they dress him up like Trump and everything else. And they did a recent pandemic special episode, which was very spot on to where we are with the pandemic and then everything else. So highly, highly recommended if you have not seen that. But just, if you're a Trump fan, you may not think it's as funny. If you're not so much a Trump fan, you'll think it's pretty hilarious. So just definitely pokes fun at takes the character Trump to another level. And then the Nixon head on Futurama was my last one. Just really off the wall and I don't know, just hilarious. So that's what I got. Do we miss any other characters? I mean, did anybody else have anything on your list that we have not covered?
We got all mine except Jack Nicholson and Mars Attacks, which honestly, I believe Mars Attacks came out in 1996.
Yeah.
That wasn't the last time I've seen it, but it's, what year is it now? 2020? It's probably been it's been 15 plus years since I've seen that movie. So I can't really give too much insight as to, specifics on Jack Nicholson, other than the fact that he's always that kind of character. That's more, I guess that's my off the wall one. I don't know if that kind of president necessarily makes you feel safe.
Can I answer for you real quick? Let me give you a brief synopsis on your pick.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the movie Mars Attacks, okay, and you have to make this list, and you Google and you see that Jack Nicholson was played a president, you go, yeah, of course he's on my list.
Right.
I don't care if he was a bad president, good president. No. Of course he's gonna be on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's an outlandish movie. It's pretty, it's funny and everything. So I mean, it's not. You can't kind of put it in the same vein. We're talking about Air Force One and Independence Day. If these things were, I guess it, in theory, it is the same premise of Independence Day. It's just a little bit more of a fantastical,
cartoonish,
maybe more cheesy sci-fi take on that same scenario. So I don't know if it's
either way, I'm pretty sure that's how Jim Brown's going to die. Is fist fighting aliens.
Oh, is that Jim Brown?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a great scene. He pulls off these. He's working at a casino and like a Roman gladiator shit, and he pulls off the chest plates, puts his fist up, and goes into like a crowd of the little aliens, and they all just swarm him as he's kicking their ass, and they finally take him. It's a great scene.
And I gotta say,
forgot
honestly,
about
for the time, for 1996,
Sure.
the animation of the aliens is fantastic. It really is very good.
Right. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very 50s B movie type feel to it on purpose. Yeah.
The girl's got the beehive hairdos and all that. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah. And then the only one, well, I already explained it, but the Al Gore sketch on SNL was one of my favorites. It was just kind of dipped its toes into it was very witty and clever with everything that was going on at the time with, Bush still being president, and it kind of winked at, the 2000 election and how close that was, and, all the issues around that. So that's a good one. I strongly suggest anybody looking that up. It's pretty funny. Dino, or we get everybody on everybody's list?
I think the only one we really didn't touch on was the Kiefer Sutherland in Designated Survivor.
Oh, Designated Survivor, yeah, we briefly.
I think Kiefer Sutherland has that beer drinking quality that we talked about.
Sure. It's been noted. He's gotten into a lot of trouble for it.
Exactly. You want to party with him. He did a documentary because he does this blues band that he travels with. That's really good. So you want to party with him, but also just in the writing of the show and the fantastical idea of like that premise happening of like all the branches of the government, being wiped out, and he's the last person. So in turn, he becomes president. I mean, just the premise of the show also, helps all that too. So
yeah,
that's why I have him on the list. But other than that, yeah, I think we've covered it for me.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a solid pick.
Well, so it sounds like, again, so even though the three of us, again, three different generations, a lot of different movies and shows we've watched over the years, we still had overlap here. Sounds like we the same type of fictional U.S. president qualities we all tend to agree with. We like the leadership qualities. We like to feel safe with this character, kind of make us feel safe. Is this character powerful? Can he protect himself? Can he help protect people around it? Can he protect us as an individual and as a nation? Right?
Against aliens.
It seems to be kind of, what's that?
Against aliens.
Against alien. All right. So we have two stood up against aliens.
Oh, wait,
try to help save the world.
I'm sorry. I don't know. You can probably edit this out, but I'm watching the news right now, and it looks like they're calling it Bill Pullman is our next president of the United States, guys.
Hey!
All right. Let's give it up for Bill.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Can't wait.
Excellent.
For that.
He's still alive, right?
Bill Paxton died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bill Pullman's alive.
Pullman's still alive, and he's now the president of the United States.
That's pretty good. So I feel safer already.
I do. Yeah.
I do too. I like it.
It's a great lesson for society, really, that we all really just want the same things. Here we are, three different gentlemen from three generations, and we look for the same things.
Yes.
We're all connected.
Yes, we just want Bill Pullman.
One nation under Bill Pullman. There you go.
That's right.
Well, and overall, I think we agree that Bill Pullman was still, after we go through our complete list, is Bill Pullman overall still our top overall character? Do we want Bill Pullman in charge in real life?
Now,
that type of character. Go ahead.
This is an election, right? With these guys. Let's say let's throw away, because we don't know who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, who's
right. They never say
whatever.
Well,
okay?
Some of them.
Huh?
Some of them do, but it doesn't matter in this scenario.
Okay, yeah. If this is a general election, right? All of our lists are our debates, right? Our primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Harrison Ford has narrowly been knocked off by Bill Pullman, and we've decided that he is kind of our president, that who's received the candidacy, would Harrison Ford accept a vice presidential spot or perhaps a cabinet spot, or is he too proud for that?
I see where you're going, but what you didn't realize was during the primary, Harrison Ford just grumbled something, threw his hands in the air, and just walked off. Nobody's seen him since.
I bet it was fuck off. That's what he grumbled.
Yeah, it could be. I didn't really understand it, but he grumbled something and just left.
Or somebody read him numbers and he said, never tell me the odds.
Yeah, put him as more like a military type lead.
Cheers.
Harrison Ford, so Bill Pullman would be the president. Harrison Ford would be like Secretary of State or something like that. That would be good. Okay. And then I think Leslie Knope would be a good vice president.
Leslie Knope would be a good vice president. Absolutely.
You have two powerful figures.
Yeah.
And you get different perspectives a little bit there, but
both
really,
there.
I want Martin Sheen, Secretary of State. I want him out there talking with the nations and the rest of the world and dealing with it.
I can see that. All right.
Yeah. Solid.
I think we solved pretty much the election problem of 2020.
Well, I guess we'll just work on the pandemic next, and then we'll just.
Okay.
I guess we'll save the world. I mean, we're already a global podcast. We're growing.
That's right.
I mean, Canada, Germany, Singapore.
Ideas. Can you put together your top 5 diseases?
Yes, actually.
And make the. What was that?
I said yes, actually. I think I probably can.
The majority of mine are STDs.
All right. On that note, I think it's a good opportunity to wrap this. So, a good solid list of presidents, and if we put them all together, you have a pretty solid cabinet, I think, right? So, Bill Pullman's still the lead. Yep. Solid support around him.
I'm convinced.
Then, what's that?
Nick, I'm convinced. Nick, are you convinced?
I am convinced. Yes.
Brian, you convinced?
I am convinced. I am convinced that we're all looking for similar qualities in a U.S. leader out there. Yeah. So, all right, Nick, you want to take us out of this episode, sir?
Yeah. So signing off, we are.
Convincing it.
Somebody say names.
We're doing names.
Well, roll call.
When you say we are, you're not expecting one person to say who they are.
I got this. Now we know for the next
episode. Royal we.
We are Brian, Dean, and Nick. Are you not convinced? If you are not, please let us know. We comment. We are on Facebook, our YouTube channel. We are now on Instagram at convincing_idiots. Give us a follow. Let us know on there. Probably more to come. But yeah, that's about it for us. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys. Tune in for our next episode. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.